The 2024 linebacker class is not the strongest group. There's some decent guys at the top, but nobody who is exactly a game changer at the position, at least at first glance. Many of these guys could have big impacts in the NFL, but I don't expect any linebacker to be taken in the first round, and there might not even be one linebacker taken until the third round. One of the linebackers who has started to generate more and more buzz over the past few weeks is NC State linebacker Payton Wilson. A guy who flies all over the field and has been flying up draft boards. Today, we're going to be talking about what makes him one of the best linebackers in the entire class. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment and let me know who you guys would like to see in the next video. But without further ado, let's get into it. Wilson has been incredibly productive over the last 3 seasons for the Wolfpack. In 2022, Wilson had 83 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 1 interception, and 3 pass deflections on the year, and he had a pretty solid season all around. His 2023 season was much better, and he looks like an incredibly talented linebacker. He had 138 total tackles, 6 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 6 pass deflections on the season, and as mentioned earlier, he has been moving up draft boards very quickly, and he is one of the most intriguing linebacker prospects in the entire class. If you couldn't tell by the numbers, Wilson is an absolute tackling machine. He flies all over the field, and he does a very nice job of wrapping up and making tackles. Whether it was in the run game, whether it was on a short pass, Wilson seemed to constantly be in on the pile, making a tackle, and I love to see that. Wilson also has a really solid frame for a modern linebacker, and I think he still has room to grow in his frame. He's 6'4", 238 pounds. I think he fits the ideal size model for a modern linebacker. He is tall, and he has incredible length, and I like his frame quite a bit. Wilson also has some really good speed. He is rumored to run in the 4.5s, and he flies all over the field. He penetrates and crashes down in the run game super quickly, and on top of that, he also has some really nice track down speed. There were multiple instances on the tape I would watch where the linebacker would creep out of the front level and he would chase him down, and he's got long arms and does a really good job of tackling, as we mentioned. He flies all over the field, and I really love the speed at which he plays at. I also really like his play recognition. He is solid in coverage, and he does a very nice job disguised as a spy, and he does a good job timing his blitzes as well. He reads the quarterback's eyes well, and he has the ability to match up with the tight end one-on-one. He has a lot of the tools that you look for in a linebacker, and I'm a really big fan. Wilson has an extensive injury history and is an older linebacker prospect. He's going to be 24 at the time of the draft, making him one of the older prospects in this class. On top of that, he has had multiple knee and shoulder injuries, so that is something that we need to take into consideration for him because he hasn't been able to stay healthy as much as you would like. I also think Wilson can improve on his play strength. He sometimes struggled to make a tackle, and the offensive players would bounce right off of him. As a blitzer, he often struggled to disengage with blockers and is pushed off balance pretty often. He has all the tools, but I want to see him play a little bit more grounded and play with a bit more balance. Wilson reminds me a lot of Jack Campbell last year. He's a guy who is expected to go in round 3 or so, but as the combine and the pro days and all of that stuff starts to happen, has a good Senior Bowl week, I think he could boost his stock tremendously. He is my number 4 linebacker in the class, and I like his tools a lot, but with his age, his injuries, and the balance issue, he is a little bit lower than a couple of other guys. He is my number 104 player in the 2024 NFL Draft. I think his skill set, he can play really any sort of linebacker role at the NFL level. He can play in a lot of different spaces, and NC State dialed him up in a lot of different areas. I think he would be an excellent inside linebacker. He's a very good run defender, and I think playing in the middle of the field, roaming, watching the quarterback's eyes, that I think is where he would be best used. I think this is where he's going to ultimately end up being used, but with his speed and athleticism, I wouldn't be totally surprised if he was used as an edge rusher. He is extremely versatile on the defensive side of the ball, and like I said, similar to Jack Campbell last year, I could see him used in a lot of different ways. My comparison for Payton Wilson is Jacksonville Jaguars inside linebacker Foye Oluokun. Foye has been a guy who has been an absolute tackling machine over the last few seasons, and he has been ranked at the top of the league in terms of tackles over the last 2 seasons. On top of that, he is really solid in coverage and is a really good athlete who ran in the 4.4s and has a very similar frame to what Payton Wilson has. I think their play styles, their frame, and their athleticism make them very comparable players in my opinion. Payton Wilson is flying up draft boards. He has so much upside, and if he can stay healthy, could be an immediate impact player at the NFL. He is a guy who I think is going to continue to move up boards, and I know he's going to continue to move up mine, and ultimately, I think he will be a top 75 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.